Good morning, Collective and Soul Tribe. Happy Thursday, all right? I was about to say Friday. I'm a little bit ahead of myself, okay? But happy Thursday, all right? It is March 19th. I hope you guys are doing well, having a good day, okay? We are closer to Friday, all right? Now, I guess you can say today is Baby Friday, okay? So take what resonates with that, you know. I have to double check when Easter is as well because I feel like, I don't know, sometimes it's in March, sometimes it's in April. I have no idea, but I need to double check because I know sometimes, you know, people take time off or, you know, kids have, you know, time off from school. I believe in the States, you guys already had, I believe it was like spring break or like March break or something like that. But yeah, that could be significant too. And also for some of you guys, we're getting closer to Aries season. So some of you may have seen that I made a post about Aries season and, you know, what you guys could expect. It's not really a long blog. It's just to get you guys prepared, get ideas, you know, just to see what you need to prepare for, and the energy that you could be feeling could be, you know, very significant. So anyway, let's jump into it. Let's see what you need to know for today, all right? So universe, I'm changing it up for once. I usually say spirit, but universe, what messages do you have for the collective at this time? What do they need to know for March 19th? What clarity and understanding can you give the collective at this time? And always please protect and guide them no matter what. Even if they do see these messages or not, still continue to give them the guidance that they need at this time. So let's see. What does the collective need to know for March 19th? What do they need to know? Oh, okay. So first card is completion, release. Now, when it comes to burdens, you know, responsibilities, certain financial strains that you felt like maybe you were responsible or you felt like it was your responsibility, that could be very significant. Now, when it comes to burdens, you know, you could be releasing your own burdens. This could be other people's burdens. This could be burdens of, you know, stress, struggle, burnout, etc. So there's something about your energy where you may be able to do certain things a certain way, and you may have other people trying to copy or follow your way of doing something where it may not work for them. It works for you, but it may not work for them. So for example, if you're somebody who goes, like say you go to school or you go to your job, right? Say you guys go really early, you know, like you guys like to be on time. Even with school too, like say you're in college or university, right? High school is a little bit different, but I know for college and university, you know, you're allowed to go in the school, and if there's a library there, you can go there, right? And you can, you know, do research or just, you know, hang out for a little bit until it's time for you to go to class. So some of you guys could be like that. Like you guys like to be early, you know, class could be like at 9 or like 9:30, and you're at the school at like 7:30, right? And nothing is wrong with that. Maybe people may question, you know, why do you get up so early? Why do you do this? But it works for you. Rather than somebody who doesn't like getting up early, they may see you getting up and they try to do the same thing, but they get burnt out because they're not you, right? And it's not to be disrespectful, it's just to say everyone is different. So what works for you works for you. Even manifestations, it's the same thing I said about manifestations and even like meditating. Meditating does not mean you have to sit in one circle and just, you know, make sounds like hum and, you know, that kind of stuff. You don't have to. You literally can just either lay down, that's a part of meditating. Standing up is a part of meditating. Okay, going for a walk is meditating. Okay, whatever works for you, right? I don't know, maybe the way that I look at it, it's very new age, okay? But at the same time, you're still following it with intentions. And that's what I'm talking about. It's all about the intention behind what it is that you're doing. So when it comes to that, you guys are releasing burdens. This could be, like I said, other people's burdens. You guys could be feeling more whole within yourself, meaning like you're in alignment with your body, your mind, your spirit. Even when it comes to certain cycles and your purpose unfolding, this could be your energy. Some of you guys could have went through a rebirth. Some of you guys could be moving in towards, divine order, right? And divine order may look different for, everybody. Now, for, some of you, this could be about, career and success and fortune. So even when it comes to career and success, you don't really care to be somebody who is, I guess famous or, well known. Some of you guys just care about following your path, right? And what your path is telling you to do. So if you're getting universal, messages and things like that, you're trying to follow that path, the best of your abilities. But at the same time, while you're following that path, you're still able to benefit from it. So there's something about you building long-term goals when it comes to like building structures, but you're also releasing the burden behind that. You're not burning yourself out. For some of you guys, if you guys do work or go to school, there's something about you not burning yourself out anymore. You know what I mean? Like, other people can burn themselves out, but you're not going to do that. You're not built to be burnt out. You know what I mean? There's some people out there that are built to work literally day in and day out, and then there's some people who are not meant to do that. Maybe some of you guys are supposed to work in slow-paced, environments, whether this is like medical, holistic, whatever the case is, right? But when it comes to dealing with fast-paced environments, and let's be realistic, everywhere you go, everything is fast-paced, but there are certain careers or, hobbies or interests that you guys can look into where you guys can look for, slow-paced jobs or jobs that allow you to be, emotional or allow you to use your, emotional intelligence as well. So let's see what other messages show up. So Spirit, what other messages do you have for the collective or universe? What do you have for the collective for March 19th? What else do they need to know for March 19th, please? Thank you. So we have here Three of Swords. Okay, so when it comes to releasing, like I said, you guys are releasing and letting go, completing a cycle. This is about, everything. For some of you, this could be heartbreak. This could be grief. Okay, this could be, separation. Whatever this is, if this is your energy, you could have felt like this, or you could have felt like, maybe you've had to cry sometimes, or, maybe you were upset, right? But whatever this energy is, whether this is you or other people around you, because remember, you guys are changing, you guys are leveling up, you guys are growing. And if people expect you to stay the same of what you used to be, and you're not who you used to be, you've changed, and you've changed for the betterment of yourself, this could also be significant too, right? So whatever it is that you went through where you felt like there were three swords in your heart, you felt like if this was family, they probably stabbed you in the heart, right? If this was, friends, they probably stabbed you in the heart. If this was, maybe your goals and dreams, like where maybe for some of you guys, maybe you go to school and, certain things happen at school and you feel like you get let down there, or maybe at your job, you could do, you do something for your job and you get let down there. But whatever this is, it's almost like the three swords were put in your heart and you guys are learning to release that. So this could be about, for some of you, when it comes to like the mind, thinking, communication is also significant. But even when it comes to like, peers or even short distant travels, right? There's something about Three of Swords energy. Now, for some of you guys too, this could be about you focusing on your creativity with the number 3 here, because, angel numbers as well. So some of you guys are focusing on your creativity, how you express yourself, joy, things like that, right? And this could be from different avenues. It could be from, through your art, through your voice, even when it comes to like the way that you creatively, solve problems as well, right? So for some of you guys, 3 is very significant. You guys are releasing the past so that you can move forward. And a lot of this energy is because we're slowly approaching Aries energy and season. And there's a lot of things where you guys could be releasing a lot. And I mean a lot. Like, if you went through a lot within the like last, 3 years, at least. I mean, it could be longer than that, but especially the last 3 years could be very significant. And especially with the number three, that could be confirmation for someone as well, right? You guys could be releasing a lot. You know what I mean? So Saturn talks about, responsibility and discipline, right? And there's something about responsibility and discipline when it comes to like balance and receiving justice. So even if you went through what you went through, there's something about balance and justice that could be very significant too, where maybe you guys are moving into that energy for some of you that resonate with this, right? Yeah, so again, there's this energy of Mercury and Taurus. So for some of you, when it comes to isolation, when it comes to struggle, unemployment could be very significant, disgrace too. It's almost like some of you guys were put in situations, like I said, when it comes to the Three of Swords, where some of you guys were put in certain situations, whether this was people, places, and things, where you felt like there was a lot of difficulty, okay? You may also feel like there was a lot of hardships that you had to deal with, right? But even if you were going through some type of hardship or even, poverty, okay? Like, I'm not judging, the way the world is going right now, everybody goes through certain things. And a lot of times, people say, oh, that will never happen to me. That will never happen to me. Oh, that could never happen. But one thing that I've learned as someone who has West Indian parents is that you never say never, okay? There's something called freak accidents. Never say never. Always have grace and compassion about somebody. Yeah, you may question something and say, oh, I wonder why that happened, but you don't really judge, right? For some of you guys, you're not judgmental. So, even if somebody was working, okay, for example, you may know somebody who's worked 3 jobs, okay, and you're not trying to jinx anything, but you could see things. So even when it comes to you, you know when things are about to end because you see things. But say you knew someone who worked like 3, 4 jobs, but they're very, cocky and egotistical about it. And, they're like, oh, nothing can happen to me type of energy. But then you say something like, well, never say never because things happen, changes happen. And say they lose those jobs, right? That could be very significant too, where you're humble enough to say, look, if it can happen to you, it can happen to me, and it is what it is, right? You just have to figure out how to move forward. So while you are dealing with your situation where maybe people feel like, maybe you were going through certain adversities or, you were dealing with hardship or isolation or even just, dealing with unemployment could be very significant. There's something about you guys not being alone. If you were alone in your current situation, there's something about change when it comes to what you're creating. This could be joy, this could be self-expression, and also some of you guys are taking a gamble on yourself as well, right? So even when it comes to this energy, even if you went through something, there's something about you going through that and feeling like you're going to make it, right? Like, even if you were alone, you're still feeling like you're going to make it because you're not alone. And you guys are open to receiving help and support from other people that are around you. So there's something about grounded communication or just you being persistent with Taurus energy. So even with your communication, there's something about it being persistent, but it's grounded, right? And it's passionate too, like that could be significant as well. Even though it is grounded, it's still passionate. And you may have people who misunderstand you, even if they still understand what you're saying. You have people out there that just purposely want to misunderstand the collective. And I personally think that's weird, right? But again, it's out there, just like how there are NPCs out there, just like how there are people like us who are aware. There are people out there that are meant to be blockage, right? Blockages of other people's lives, unfortunately. So when it comes to taking action, right, being assertive, being direct, even when it comes to you being daring and focused, like I said, even if you felt like this energy when it comes to certain burdens, it's like maybe you were the one that was, taking care of everything. And when I mean everything, I mean home, family, even if you have kids or not. It's like you were like the Cinderella, masculine or not. You were the Cinderella of the family. You're always cooking, you're always cleaning or doing something, or you're the breadwinner of the family, right? And say, for example, you're the one that goes to school, or you're the first kid in your family to go to school. Whatever it is that you are breaking generational curses about, it's almost like you're the golden child or the golden egg, the one, right, to do certain things. And it's almost like the same energy you felt like, you're supposed to feel like you're included. People allowed you to try to feel, okay, when I say allowed, because you don't want that energy, but they tried to force that energy onto you, where they forced their burdens and responsibilities and things like that on you, whether this was you being stressed about it or going through certain things, right? You were stressed about it, but they still put that on you and stabbed you in your heart, right? Tried to leave you out in the cold, but for some reason, you still found a way to move forward when it comes to communication and being adaptable. Okay, you're ambitious, right? You're ambitious, you're direct. Okay, yeah. Three of Wands, okay? So take what resonates with that, but there is something about you finding something out in the next maybe 12 minutes, 12 hours, okay? But there's something about your confidence, moving forward, looking ahead, growth. Okay, 1616 on the timer. Okay, at the bottom of the deck we have movement. Okay, 8 of Wands, something coming into you, to your energy quickly. There's either sudden changes or there's some type of excitement, right? But whatever this is, you guys are ready, right? Stepping into your power could be very significant, but you're ready, right? There's something about progress and growth. So even when it comes to like you expanding, maybe traveling, whether this is physically or mentally, okay, learning new things, connecting with different cultures around the world, whatever this energy is, you guys are moving forward with progress. With the number 8, this talks about your power, this talks about abundance, this talks about leadership, manifestations, etc., cause and effect energy. And not only that, death and transformations are also significant. So some of you guys went through a rebirth, and that's also significant too, right? But yeah, I'm gonna end it here. Please take what resonates with you guys. But there is something about, within the next few, like, I want to say like minutes or so, there's something that you're finding out in the next few days, okay, days to weeks maybe, because Wands is about days and weeks. And there's something about within the next few months could be very significant, okay? So if there is something about you feeling left out in the cold, this could have been, past energy that you guys are healing from, or this is, energy that you guys could be sensing when it comes to, people trying to alienate you or make you feel like, you should be alone. And in actuality, you don't care to be alone. If anything, you prefer to be alone because you get a lot of things done when you are alone, okay? So especially with the 8 of Wands, it's like, yeah, what did I say about, death and transformations? You guys are making movement. You guys are letting go and releasing and going through a transition. Ace of Wands energy, which is good energy, right? This is you. You're switching your energy. You're positive. You are embarking new things. Okay, your passion could be very significant. There's something about a spark being lit. Okay, so take what resonates with that. But anyway, I'm going to end it here. Thank you guys again. I love you guys for supporting me, my channel. Okay, thank you for, the comments and likes. Those who do resonate with the messages, I appreciate the comments and, you being authentic. And those who just like and share, I appreciate that too. So thank you guys, and follow me on YouTube and TikTok. My website is www.mysteriouslyunique.ca. You guys can check out my blog or book a reading. And also, I have a coffee account. It's KO-FI, Mysteriously Unique, one word. You guys can check that out too. Like I said, that's just a test trial run just to see how that goes. But like I said, honestly, if I don't like it and I don't see anything really going on, then I'm just gonna delete it. Like, I don't like spreading my energy out in different platforms. Like, I hate it, because then now I have too many passwords, I have too many security codes, like it's just too much, right? But anyway, thank you guys. I appreciate you guys. Continue trying to maintain your, frequency, your vibrancy, etc. you know, remaining positive until you get into this Aries season, because you guys are moving forward and it is good energy. Okay, so, you know, maybe you guys are looking ahead, especially with the weather changing, and, you know, maybe you guys do have new opportunities that you guys are looking forward to, and that's significant too, right? So anyway, I love you guys, and I will see you guys next time. All right, guys, bye.